Section 1. The Stakes, an Unqualified Team. To really get how radical Jesus's choices were, you have to understand the world he lived in. First century Judea was a society built on honor, purity, and religious pedigree. The spiritual leaders were the Pharisees, known for their meticulous study of the law. The powerful were the Sadducees, the wealthy elite. The intellectuals were the scribes. These were the qualified people, the ones you'd expect a new rabbi to recruit from. Instead, he goes down to the shores of the Sea of Galilee. Fishing in Galilee wasn't some romantic hobby, it was a tough, subsistence-level job. Fishermen were hard-working, sure, but they weren't theologians. But Jesus walks right past them. Peter, the one Jesus would single out, was impulsive, emotional, and famous for speaking before he thought. These were not the polished leaders you'd build a movement on. They were often considered ceremonially unclean because of their work, which meant they weren't even always welcome in the temple for worship. Peter, Andrew, James, and John were ordinary laborers, with hands more calloused than their rhetoric was refined. They were viewed as traitors, collaborators with a foreign enemy oppressing their own people. On top of that, the system was notoriously corrupt. Tax collectors would demand more than what Rome required and pocket the difference. Then it gets even more controversial. Jesus calls a man named Matthew. Matthew was a tax collector. Now, we might not love the tax office today, but in Jesus's time, it was on a whole different level. Tax collectors were Jews who worked for the occupying Roman Empire. And just to make the team even more volatile, Jesus also calls Simon a zealot. The zealots were political extremists who likely advocated for the violent overthrow of Rome. He was the ideological opposite of Matthew, the Roman collaborator. They were social outcasts, lumped in with the worst of sinners and forbidden from the synagogue. To invite a tax collector into your inner circle wasn't just strange, it was scandalous. It was a slap in the face to every patriot and every religious person. This wasn't a team, it was a social experiment just waiting to explode. A crew of rough around the edges fishermen, a traitorous money man, and a political firebrand. By every human metric, this group was destined to fail. And yet, they didn't. Putting a zealot and a tax collector on the same team is like putting the leaders of two opposing armies in a small boat and telling them to get along. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment and share the channel. Click on notification bell for more.